All month long, we've been honoring Pride Month, reporting about people and LGBTQ+ services in the tri-state area, telling a lot of stories as part of our See Us series. And as June comes to a close, we have one last special story to share. CBS2's John Diaz takes us to Suffolk County, where he grew up, letting us in on a very personal interview with his mother about him coming out as gay. They talk about how she's handled that and how his mom hopes this conversation will help other parents in the same situation.
What is that, my junior prom?
Is that your prom?
It's my junior prom.
Yes.
Yeah.
The obvious thing about pictures of the past, they show just that, the past, without giving much or any indication of the future.
Grandma and Papa.
But I think, like most parents, what my mom, Jackie Diaz, would have liked to have had nearly 10 years ago was a crystal ball to see the future would be okay. When at the age of 23, I came out of the closet as a gay man.
I knew that would be an adjustment.
At first, it was a hard pill for her to swallow.
How were you feeling then?
I would say I was shocked, but not totally surprised.
Many emotions going through her head, ups and downs, and plenty of worries.
I didn't want you to be discriminated against.
But what overshadowed all of that? Love, especially when she and I told my father, who died nearly 4 years ago.
He said to me, I don't care, you're the same person you were when you first walked in here, so you're not any different.
Right,
I love you just the same.
That's how we felt, that you were the same person last week, last year, when you were born. You were born this way. To us, the most important thing was your health and happiness, always. And that you would love yourself as much as we love you. We didn't want you to change in any way or think, you know, love yourself less.
Did you ever feel like, why didn't you come to me sooner?
But I think you would have, because we are very close.
Yeah.
You would have, but I didn't think you needed time to come to terms with it.
Licensed therapists say not only do many members of the LGBTQ community need time to process their sexuality, but their loved ones often need time too.
With, I think, parents, right, there's a grieving process of the idea of how your kid was going to go through school or go through life in these milestone moments, whether it's prom or a wedding.
David Vidari is a senior therapist at the gender-affirming treatment community, The Dorm.
The pieces do fall together.
But some of his colleagues will also argue sometimes they don't.
Because some parents really don't ever come around.
For many, the month of June is full of rainbows and smiles. It's a time for pride. But for others, there is pain. Coming out could be hard. According to a 2019 study by Yale School of Public Health, across the world, an estimated 83% of those who identify as lesbian, gay, or bisexual keep their sexual orientation a secret from all or most in their lives. But Chief Commercial Officer at the compliance software company Philo, Jeff Raghavan, who was a proud gay man, will tell you whether it's in the workplace or anywhere else, authenticity will get you so far.
For people like us who, who don't hide it and live our lives and don't live our lives in fear, right? People look up to that.
And as for my mother, her message to those who are struggling in silence with their sexuality and parents who might be coping with a coming out story.
You know, when I opened my eyes and my heart to a whole community that I never knew and didn't fully understand, I opened my heart and to them, and we're all God's children.
Children that all deserve happiness.
And John Diaz is here right now. How did you not cry? I have a lump in my throat. Because
trust me, I cried after I interviewed her. Yeah, I was trying to keep my composure during that interview, but yes.
And I met your mom.
Yes.
You guys, they're so cute together. She came to the studio. John, a decision, a big decision to do that, to lay out your life, to share your life with your mom. We're on TV every day. How much do people know about us? How much do you want them to know about us? Decision, how did you do it?
I mean, that's the thing, people, we go into their bedrooms, their living rooms, wherever they're watching us, really, and they think they know us, and they do know us to a degree, but to get personal and show, visibility matters, and especially during Pride. A lot of the stories that you hear, you talk to a lot of members of the LGBTQ community, and there is pain, there is suffering with their coming out story. And I know I got fortunate with my family, my parents especially, my sister, my grandparents, everyone. But a lot of people don't, and I feel like it was important to share a story of optimism and that things do get better, But when I was coming out of the closet, like I was just telling you, there was a part of me that was thinking, you may celebrate Christmas alone, you may blow out your birthday candles alone, because your family might not be okay with it. And my family is wonderful, and I love them. And 99.9% of me was like, they're going to be okay. But that 0.1% still was so scary to think, how are they going to handle this?
This was about 10 years ago,
Yes,
you
yeah.
told them. So that fear, that 1/10%, was that keeping you from saying it earlier in your life and having the conversations?
Yes and no. I was just, honestly, I was confused. It was like a lot of gay men. My husband, he knew from a young age I was confused for a very long time. Everyone has their own journey and their own, coming to terms with it. And that's the thing. We expect, since we want our loved ones to just be okay with it right away, right? I mean, that's, of course, you want that acceptance right away. But sometimes it takes you years to come to terms with it. How do you expect that person to be okay with it right away? And so that's the thing. Even with my mom, we're best friends, and she's a wonderful woman. My sister, every woman in my life, the men in my life, all the family members, they did come to terms with it quickly, but it did take a couple of years for them to really, truly be proud and okay with it. And my mom said 7 years ago, if she did this interview, she might not say yes. She might say, just give me a little bit more time. Now she would be out there, with a rainbow flag, doing everything like that. Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Jackie, yeah, I love it. Christmas, you spoke about holidays. You're Catholic, your family is. Was that something too? Was it the basis of your concern?
I mean, absolutely, yeah. You grow up, and I grew up in a Roman Catholic household, going to church every Sunday, and you hear stories, and you see people, and you see the husband, the wife, and the kids, and you think that's what I have to do. That's the life I need. I need a white picket fence. But then I start to realize, I want a white picket fence, and I want children, but I just don't want a wife. I want a husband. And that's the life that my husband and I have, and it's okay. It's okay to want that white picket fence and want those children with a man, if you are a man, or if you're a woman and you want to be with a woman. That's okay. You could still have that life.
You spoke with a counselor, and what your mom said at the end about loving our children. And you have emphasized this is over time. It's not like that. And just speaking with other, or sharing with other families, be it the person coming out, or relatives, or friends, how do you approach these conversations if you want to help them, or if you're on the receiving end? Can you give any advice to that without knowing everybody's circumstance?
It's hard because everyone's circumstance is different. You want to tell your friends it's going to be okay, your parents will come around, everything's going to be okay. I'm a 33-year-old man, and some of my friends are older than me, and they came out when they were 16 years old, and their parents are still not okay with it. So it's hard. Sometimes it's hard. It's also, you kind of feel guilty sometimes having such a wonderful family and wonderful parents. And, I didn't really talk about my sister too much in the story, but she's one of my best friends, if not my best friend, and she's been wonderful. And so you feel guilty sometimes because all people in the LGBTQ community, some of them don't have that. But that's also the wonderful thing about the community is we're all family. We all welcome everyone with open arms. So authenticity, like I said in the piece, it's so important, and it's so true to be authentic to yourself, and you will feel so much better after you come out and after you're honest with yourself. And if your family doesn't accept you, it's hard, but also there's going to be a whole other community out there that is going to accept you for who you are and how you were born.
John, I love you, and this young man has worked here for several years.
Yes.
And I am just so proud of you. You're a great reporter. You've done nothing but just grow as you've taken on the job, passionate about his work and just being his authentic self. And you bring so much to us here at Channel 2, CBS News, New York.
I don't want to make you cry.
No, I'm just staring at you, and just thank you, and thank your mom for sharing this.
I definitely will.
It means so much to so many people.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
If you'd like to see more stories from Pride Month, See Us. We have a lot of great reporting and sharing of very personal stories. Go to cbsnewyork.com.